Today I wanted to talk to you about sinking funds and why I really think they're super important and super helpful. I wrote down the definition and kind of my definition of it, which is a sinking fund is saving a small amount of money each month over a certain amount of time, usually for a specific purpose. If you have no idea what a sinking fund is, that probably won't make much sense to you. So I wanted to do a real world example and then show you what my sinking funds look like right now for 2019. For example, I know my auto insurance is due in September, and I know it's going to cost about $1,500. So I need to save $1,500, and if I'm starting right now, you would have, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So you can say 7 or 8 months. So let's go ahead and divide 1,500 by, let's go with 7 months. So by 7 months means I need to try to save, well, we'll round up. We'll say $215 a month from now until September, and basically saying I'll have $1,500 at the start of September. Let's see, what's another common one? We could look at Christmas, and let's say this year I want to spend, well, let's make it easy. I'll say I want to spend or have a budget of $600, and I want to start saving, I guess June. How about that? June, July, August, September, October, November. So we'll say $600, start saving in June, gives me 6 months, equals $100 a month. Some people will go even further and they'll break it down from here by paycheck. If you get paid twice a month, that makes it pretty straightforward. You would say 7 months. You divide this basically in half, and you would know. So per paycheck, you would say save $107 per paycheck. And same thing here. Basically just half that, and you would know to save $50 per paycheck. Now, I get paid weekly, and so some months will have 4 weeks, some months will have 5. I could break it down, but honestly, the monthly works for me. I usually just transfer all my savings at the end of the month into the appropriate account, and so just having the monthly one works for me. But if your brain does better or it's more helpful for you to budget by paycheck, then you can always break it down even further. Why is this important and why is this helpful? Let me go ahead and show you my actual sinking funds for 2019. So this is my current spread for my sinking funds that I'm planning to save for in 2019. I went ahead and broke everything down. Like I said, I had my auto insurance, so I'm going to start saving later, and I have my monthly breakdown. I also do sinking funds for things like miscellaneous apartment, car maintenance, and charity and gifts. And honestly, the car maintenance one has been the most helpful one and the one that's easiest to show an example. The thing about sinking funds, you can have a set goal. So I said, okay, I want to take this by July. My auto insurance due September. Okay, you know when these are coming up and when you need the funds by. Other sinking funds, like these down here, you don't need them by a certain date. It's just something that I found personally is helpful to be putting away money for the random expenses that will pop up that you know will come up, but you just don't know when. So for example, just last week, I bought 4 new tires for my car that I bought in December. And that was it was not an expected expense whatsoever. I was pretty upset. But the great thing was I had some money in my car maintenance fund, which I've drained it now to pay, partly for the tires. Having put away money every month for this car maintenance was super helpful when, I'll show you the proof right here. I got a bill for $712 out of the blue. Putting away that money while I can before there was a big expense was really helpful for when an expense hit. I didn't have to take out a loan. I didn't have to do it in installments. I didn't have to charge it on my credit card. I was able to cash flow it, pay for it then and there, and be done with it. And so that's why I think sinking funds are very helpful in your personal finance journey. I know a lot of people will talk about how difficult it is saving up that first $1,000 for their baby emergency fund. For a lot of people, if you're doing the Dave Ramsey program, you'll do baby step 1. And what they'll say is any random thing that happens suddenly sets you back. Well, that's kind of where sinking funds come in. You may not need them in your first baby step, but it's something that's helpful as you're getting your budget under control, as you're working on your finances. Having that money set aside basically for a rainy day, but for a specified purpose. Like in this case, it was set aside for car maintenance, for my apartment when I run out of supplies or when something breaks, for gifts when I forget someone's birthday and I need to go buy a gift. Having these things set up and just saving for them consistently makes it a habit. You establish this habit of saving and then turn an emergency into an inconvenience. And so that will help you in the long run get ahead and not feel just like every single time you're making progress on something, that you're making progress towards paying off your debts, you're making progress for saving, that something happens, life happens, and then you're starting back from square one. Planning ahead, doing things like this, and saving in smaller amounts, $50, $100, even $400 a month, saving over time, like I said, for that specified purpose, will do you such wonders in the future. And so these are one of the, besides budgeting is my top tip for getting your finances under control. Sinking funds is probably my next biggest piece of advice. I think they are so helpful. They are easy to calculate, and they make something that seems like a lot, seems very daunting, trying to save $1,000 or more towards different expenses, that are happening. When you break them down into small chunks, it's less likely to overwhelm you and you're more likely to succeed in the long run. So anyways, this is sinking funds. These are my current sinking funds for 2019. I have plenty of room to add some if anything comes up. And then I wanted to show you, I had a couple of other sort of common sinking funds that you might consider setting up for yourself. But yeah, so this is sinking funds. I think they're super helpful. If you have any questions or want any advice on how to calculate or different categories you think you might want to save up for, let me know. I'm happy to help as always. Thank you so much for watching, guys.